Welcome back to the Rich Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 243. We're back home in Manchester. I'm here with Guy. You had a lovely... did you have a lovely holiday last week?
I did, but first of all, don't ever class my home as being Manchester.
Oh.
I don't want anything to do with Manchester.
You can't. Can you really class your home as Liverpool?
No, I can't. I'm in between the two. I am, but my affinity is more towards the Liverpool side.
You're in Livechester.
Livechester. Yeah, you could say Merseyside. But I'm not a Scouser, I'm a Wool, if anyone wants to know.
A Manpool.
Yeah. No, I've been on holiday and it was good. Nice week in the sun. And went to Mallorca.
Oh, nice.
And now I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
It's, we were obviously on the other side. We travelled west as you travelled east, and we were over in Ireland last week. Unbelievable week, which we'll come on to momentarily. But I think we should kick things off with chatting about the PGA Champs.
Yes.
Now, I know it was late.
It was late.
And I know probably you had a busy week. You've got a little one, and you do like to...
Excuse me, I've got a little one. It's not that little. It's average size, apparently. Weird, according to Google. Cheeky bastard. Come back into work and this is what I get. In bed with my little one. It's medium. It's fine. It works. It's good.
It gave you a little one.
Correct.
So I'm guessing, I already know, I have to guess, that you didn't get a chance to watch the whole of the PGA Champs last night.
Hear me out. I feel guilty. We're here doing a golf podcast. It is this will be going out on the Tuesday after one of the 4 major championships. And although I know what happened, you're right, Rick, I didn't really watch any of the golf this week. I did watch Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, and I watched some of Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's last game. The problem I've got, I've said this before with the golf, as much as I've heard how great it was, now I am annoyed I didn't watch it. I'm very frustrated I didn't stay up to watch it. I was just too tired.
Yeah.
Golf, when it's on in America, can be amazing. It can be that sweet spot where it's perfect timing. Other times you hit a brick wall, you're too tired. I hold my hands up. It's not great form. However, you watched a lot of it. You watched pretty much all of it on Sunday, you said.
I didn't watch much on Thursday. I watched a bit of Friday after the Scottie Scheffler drama. If anyone's not heard about that, he obviously got arrested Friday morning, but I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this knows that now.
Can I just say something quickly on that? I think that might be potentially one of, and it sounds strange, the best things to ever happen to Scottie Scheffler, because... well, maybe it's not. However, maybe you would have won the event if it didn't happen. However, my mum, who used to play golf many years ago and knows a bit about golf and knows some of the famous golfers, until hearing that story, had never heard of Scottie Scheffler, which for a world number one, you could say is quite strange for somebody with a very loose interest in golf, and obviously me doing the job that I do. But yeah, you can also understand that he has kind of in the last couple of years come from nowhere, you could argue. And although he's obviously won 2 majors and been so dominant, you can understand how a very casual golf fan or a very casual someone who's got interest in media and what's going on would not have heard of him. Yeah. That was right in the middle of the paper that she reads. Bang, big article about it. She now knows about Scottie Scheffler.
He's a very under the radar. He's not mainstream name.
Certainly not in the UK.
Not at all. I would say similar experience with my wife. Like, she'd heard me talk about Scottie, and we've watched a bit of golf together where she loved it when he won the Players Championship, and I was showing him pictures of when he had a beard and when he didn't have a beard, and she kind of loosely knows of him. But again, I was in Ireland. She was like texting me going, "What's this about Scottie getting arrested now?" That is something that became mainstream media. Very, very, very bizarre scenario. First off, obviously someone tragically died in the actual car crash outside, or the accident that took place outside of Valhalla, where a pedestrian was crossing the road and got hit by a shuttle bus is actually what happened. The roads then were shut down. Police obviously was trying to address the situation. Scottie Scheffler wanted to get to the golf course. From lots of confusion, he ended up getting arrested, put in a jail cell, which is a bit crazy in America, that, isn't it?
I thought it was crazy that not only obviously there was a massive misunderstanding, but the fact that you get this mug shot and that gets released to the public, it's all very weird.
It's all very dramatised.
And the orange suit and everything.
Straight away. Like, I don't think that wouldn't happen in the UK, would it?
No. You might well get arrested, obviously, but your mugshot wouldn't be released to the public, I don't believe.
I mean, I was actually out on the golf course filming, and Matt, one of our camera guys who was on the podcast last week and who's on the Clubhouse episode.
Great performance last week, by the way, Matt.
There you go.
You had some great comments.
He said to me, "Have you heard about Scottie Scheffler?" I said no, and I'm thinking, do you know what? has he fallen down the stairs? Has he do you know what I mean? Like, no, when he said, have you heard about Scottie Scheffler?
Something
Like, has an accident happened, or has something, and when he said he's been arrested, I was like, he's been arrested. Scottie Scheffler, the clean-cut image, professional golfer.
The now
father has been arrested. And straight away, my mind went really sadistic. Like, oh my God. The thoughts of, because I hadn't heard anything at this point why he'd been arrested.
So what did you think it might have been?
A few things, okay? My first thought, tax evasion.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's your first thought?
Very first thought.
Wow.
I thought, you know what? He's been dodgy with his money.
Can't count. Magic pencil.
He's been dodgy with his money.
Right.
And the authorities are coming in. Strange place to arrest him, granted. But when that was my first thought.
Second thought was?
I then thought, is it like a DUI? So in America, drinking under the influence or drugs under the influence.
Oh, really? That's where your head went next?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that stemmed from when Tiger's been doing some naughty stuff.
Do you not think that Tiger's traits versus Scottie Scheffler, the real Christian guy?
Don't get me wrong.
Wow, okay. Any
part of me was like, and then I got really kind of real twisted and started to think he was in a fight. He got into an altercation. He'd beaten someone up.
I reckon he could handle himself.
I'm not sure why I thought that. And for a minute, he really went up in my estimation.
You thought you might have a fight?
There was a bit of something. There was a bit of bad boy in there that I think kind of his image.
You've always had a thing for a bad boy. You've always said that, haven't you?
I feel like
you like two things: a man in uniform and a bad boy.
And I was like, you know what? Has he done something that's like, oh my God? Is he not as squeaky clean as he appears? However, obviously, it seemed like a misunderstanding. Someone unfortunately tragically lost their lives, not in in two totally separate instances, with Scottie Scheffler getting arrested. The way he dealt with everything that day,
it was phenomenal.
It was almost superhero like. How he was talking about stretching in the jail cell that morning, not sure if he's going to play or not, gets to the golf course an hour before he plays and goes out, did he shoot like a 66? He shot 5 under par to be like 1 or 2 shots behind Xander Schauffele. What? How do you do that?
Well, that's a very good point, and you're right. I think firstly he handled it very well, and it's something that there was a lot of jokes that day, and we kind of mentioned some of that in tongue in cheek. But obviously, at the end of the day, somebody's whether it be a husband or son or father, whatever, there's a man that died, and it is a very sad event. So thoughts with the family and friends of that person. But you're right. Like at first, when I saw he shot 66, I kind of of course it's Scottie Scheffler. And you take a step back and think, imagine going to whatever your day-to-day job is, whether it's you work in Tesco, whether you're a lawyer, whether you work behind a bar, whatever your normal job is. Imagine going to work, getting arrested for something, a misunderstanding, then getting let go and then going to work. Can you honestly say you'd perform as well?
No
Whether
way.
Again behind a bar, or your head would be all over the place thinking what the adrenaline, the nerves, what the hell just happened. But going to a golf course and shooting 66 the major championship after that is unbelievable.
And then the way he dealt with the press afterwards was fantastic. I felt like he couldn't say anything legally, but he actually also opened up a little bit and was like, I was stretching in a jail cell this morning. I felt like he said a lot without saying a great deal about the incident.
I'm going to say it now. I do think, as I said earlier on, it's great PR for him. It's a great story. It's made him come across even more likeable. It's even something else that you can kind of connect with him. People will probably never forget that storyline. The world, not even like a good golfer who's quite on form, the world #1 golfer by a country mile, and it happened to him. And then he went out and played like that. It's just unbelievable.
However, I think I now understand how Scottie Scheffler's done so well over the last few years.
Was this about what you said earlier on that I couldn't believe you couldn't believe? So again, tell the listeners and the viewers what you couldn't believe about Scottie Scheffler.
Oh no, what's this now?
What about what time he was getting there?
Oh yeah, that was the first thing.
Yeah.
His tee time was 9 a.m. and he was arriving at the golf club at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That's dodgy.
You found this hard to believe, didn't you?
Very, very, very difficult to believe.
So you can't comprehend that a professional sportsman who's #1 in the world at his chosen sport would get to the golf course, not in a rush, not last minute, not flapping, in his own time to get there, probably say hello to people, maybe have a little bit of a breakfast, bit of granola maybe, some stretching, some putting, a few warm-up shots, take his time, bit of chat, get himself ready in that headspace. Your preferred plan of action would be...
If I had a 9 o'clock tea time, but like, I've got a lie-in. I've got a lie-in today. I'm getting up at 8:15. I might hit the snooze a couple of times, get up, have a shower, probably tell myself I'm going to get in the car for 8:30. Realistically, get in the car for 20 to 9.
Yeah.
10 minutes to the golf club, arrive, quick shop around the pro shop, got to buy some hats, naturally. I bought so many hats in Ireland, it's ridiculous. Like a lot of hats.
Have you still only got one head? You've got all these hats with only one head.
One day this week, I've got some time set aside, believe me, to actually arrange my hat collection. And I'm going to send the picture and we'll put it in the podcast chat. It's ridiculous how many hats I've actually got. And yes, I have only got one head still.
This is why sometimes, like, Rick, have you done that email, done that admin for us? No, well, I was arranging my hats.
Had a hat day. Yeah, and then maybe 10 shots on the driving range, get to the tee about 5 to 9.
Well, I must admit, I thought that your dream and what could possibly be the best day of your life would be to qualify for the Open. And we might come on to this in a bit. You have entered Open qualifying. However, I think your absolute dream would be you enter Open qualifying, you have the best round of golf in your life and you make it to the first stage. You get to the final qualifying, you have then 2 rounds of golf where you just play like you are
Scottie
Scheffler. You get through to playing the Open at Troon this year. And on the way to the first round on the Thursday, get arrested. You would absolutely love that.
I'd love that.
That excitement and that last minute nature
drama.
to it. That'd be thriving.
I'd be wanting to get arrested.
Yeah, you would. Of course you would.
No, what I was saying about Scottie Scheffler's kryptonite or what's helped him, over the last few years, he has had a very famous sidekick along the way, Ted Scott. And Ted has won the Masters with many different golfers, including Bubba Watson. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure he's won the Masters as a caddy 4 times. Okay. Twice with Bubba, now twice with Scottie Scheffler.
Yep.
On Saturday, this week, it was obviously all planned and arranged that it was his daughter's graduation, which he did naturally not want to miss. He then could not caddy for Scottie Scheffler on Saturday of a major tournament.
Can't be in 2 places at once.
I've
always said that.
Like I've only got one head and 1,000 hats. Scottie Scheffler's rounds this week were going very, very nicely. He was 2 behind on Saturday morning, and very uncharacteristically like, he was 4 over through 3 holes on the Saturday with a new caddy, and he shot a 73. And I don't know if he would have won, because he was still 8 back from actually Xander Schauffele, who did win the PGA Championship. However, I'm not sure if Scottie Scheffler would be Scottie Scheffler without Ted Scott.
Wow.
I think Ted Scott deserves a huge increase in percentage cut that he receives from Scottie Scheffler.
Well, you would say, I mean, is it a fluke that he had the bad round with a different caddy on the bag? Who knows? You'd probably think not. The fact that, as we said a minute ago, he got arrested and then went out to shoot 66 and he could still do that, but then the day he doesn't have his normal regular caddy, he can't even break par, he's 2 over par. It does make you think, doesn't it, the importance of a caddy? And obviously when you look at tour pros and these guys who are at the top of their game, they're always searching for that 1%, aren't they? Whether it be a new putter, whether it be a new training aid, whether it be obviously a psychologist or whatever it might be. But it makes you think about how important the right caddy must be. And it's why, I mean, I'm not an expert in caddies, but it's annoyed me a little bit with people criticising Harry Diamond, who's obviously Rory's caddy, and saying that he's not the right person for the job. That Harry Diamond's a childhood friend of his. He's meant to be an unbelievable golfer as well. I think he's won some massive amateur tournaments in Ireland back in the day, and I think that's how Rory became so friendly with him. Like, he must be very good at what it does. Like, you could argue he might have won a major with another caddy. I don't think there's any evidence to back that up, by the way. But having the right caddy on your bag, who not only gives you the right golf club and the right distances, the right, wind direction, but can help you in that mindset when you're playing bad or when you're playing well or whatever, however they work best with you, it must be so important.
Well, it's funny, actually, because this week in Ireland, I actually had 4 different caddies this week. And all 4 of them were different in their own different ways. Now, if, it's hard to say, did I like one over another? But it's definitely it does play with your emotions out on the golf course.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a fairly upbeat caddy or someone who's quite interested in your score, that's one style of caddying. Another style of caddying is just not even talking about your golf one bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like they take your mind off it completely, and as soon as you hit a shot, go, so did you watch the football last night, or whatever it may be? So there's different like triggers of golfers as well.
Weird question then. You can naively, and I think everyone's done this, and certainly if you asked a golfer or even a casual sportsman, what does a golf caddy do? The first thing we would say would be carry the golf bag. And I think watching the golf on TV, even you can sometimes just think that they're there to carry the bag. I wonder if this would be overkill, and not necessarily at all. But if you had the golfer, the player, then had the caddy who didn't carry the bag, but did everything else that this did do, so distances, yardages, etc. And then you actually had an actual golf carrier bag person, which again is so needed. But what I'm kind of trying to get to was if that was a situation, you think we'd look at caddies in a different way, almost like an on-course like coach.
Mentor, yeah.
Because again, not paying any disrespect to caddies, I'm trying to do the opposite, if anything, but I think you can naively look at them like they are just there to carry the golf bag and not look at them in that way of how important they actually are.
Well, they're an on-course coach, psychologist, friend, mentor, manager. Yeah. They're everything.
The one thing that's the least important really is carry the bag. Because I could go and carry the bag for Tiger. I'd be able to carry a golf bag around, but I wouldn't be able to do all the other things that caddy does to that standard. No way.
There's a couple of, first off, the PGA Championship is a really interesting one because you can actually use rangefinders, which still I found so weird last night watching it, going, that just looks bizarre. Yeah. Now, is it good? Is it bad? I'm not sure. It's different, and there's definitely a lot of new advertising opportunities for rangefinder companies. All the caddies have, the big massive pouch you get with a rangefinder. They've got all them clipped to the belt quite naturally. I'm sure there's a few backhanders going on here, there, and everywhere. But also, we had a fellow YouTuber caddying this week.
I saw that.
So Eric Anders Lang, who we've had on the show before, Random Golf Club, he was caddying for Rich Beam. I mean, that's quite a cool thing to do, innit? To caddy at a major tournament.
Correct.
Now, Rich Beam, obviously, he won it. I don't know what year he won it, but
2002.
Wow. Not. I actually thought it was going to be longer than that ago. 2002.
22 years ago.
So obviously he gets...
That means you're getting old now.
Exemption for a while.
If you think that's only 22 years ago, bloody hell, that's not long.
Only 2002. That was it's only a couple of years ago. He obviously has got exemption for a period of time. So he decided to get Eric Anders Lang on the bag, which was pretty cool. Hopefully he's made some content about it, because that'd be quite interesting to see.
What do you think about the kind of exemptions when you win a major? Should it be indefinite? I don't know what it is on the PGA, but obviously 22 years later, Rich Beam is still playing in it. I'm guessing it's till you're 65 or 60. I think
it'll be an age thing, won't it?
And obviously the Masters is forever.
Yeah.
Like, is that the right thing? Should there be I don't know,
a time frame?
Well, I'm just looking, and this is, again, this always causes some level of dialogue in the comments and whatever, but he won it in 2002. And if you look at, actually, I was looking at this the other day, because when I first heard that Eric was doing this, if you look at Rich Beam's major career, it's been a crazy one. So his first major, this is all according to Wikipedia, but was 1999, the Open, and he missed the cut. And then he played the PGA that year and came tied 70th. The following year, the year 2000, didn't play any majors. Following year after that, 2001, he played one, missed the cut. So to this point now, he's played 3 majors, missed the cut in 2, and come tied 70th in the other one. 2002, didn't play the Masters, didn't play the US Open, didn't play the Open, but did play the PGA and won it. So
crazy,
he played in 4 majors, won 1, tied 70th, and then 2 missed cuts. And then from then up until the present day, his best finish is a tied 20th, which was at the Open in 2007. So a few years obviously after his win. But realistically, he's had a lot of obviously missed cuts in the PGA. And anything of note, really, he had a tied 36th in 2012. In one sense, part of you thinks, of course, he's won the event. He can play in it till he's 60, 65, or whatever he wants, whatever it might be. Or there is a part of me that does feel like there should be a ruling. If you miss 5 cuts in a row, you're done.
I don't disagree massively, if I'm honest with you. Because... I think even they were joking around Rich Beam and Eric. It was like, he's going to caddy for 2 rounds of golf.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a conversation around him making a cut. It was caddying. Eric could have had a serious family wedding on the Saturday, And he would have been pretty guaranteed he's going to be there on the Saturday.
But what's bizarre though is, having said that, if you look here, there actually hasn't been a spell where Rich Beem has missed 5 cuts in a row. He's missed 3 in a row, and then he had like a tied 73rd where he made the cut. Then he's gone cut, tied 80th. Then he's gone cut. There wasn't one in 2023, so he didn't play in 2023, and he's cut again this one. So if he misses the cut next year, then he'd be 5 and out.
He's out.
So it's a challenge for Rich Beem. You heard it here first. Make the cut, or Guy Charnock says you know how to play anymore.
It is difficult because obviously one of the benefits of winning a major tournament is that you do get to play in it for so many years, and there'll be huge accolades with that. Sponsorship opportunities, being able to monetize opportunities. I mean, John Daly, for example, he played in it again this year, didn't he? He won the PGA Championship.
He only played 1 round this year. I don't know if he was injured.
I think he withdrew. He had a thumb injury.
Is that then golf's USP that makes it so much better than any other sport, that these guys like a John Daly or Rich Beem can win years and years ago and still play, and sometimes maybe make a cut and make it look like golf is for everybody, not just a younger person sport? Or is it a negative of golf? You wouldn't get a footballer gets to play for Man United still because they won the Premier League in 2000 or whatever.
What could do with it?
Yeah, but is it a good difference or is it a bad difference, or does it matter at all?
I do like it. When I was at the Masters this year, I mean, Olasabal did really well at the Masters this year, but I remember stood down the 12th hole and Olasabal was walking off the 11th, and literally the whole crowd around the 12th tee stood up, huge standing ovation. He stood there on 12, one of the hardest par 3, stuck it to about 3 foot, knocked it in for birdie. And I was like, that was quite, in a weird way, that was quite historic. Like, for many golfers who've grown up watching the sport, who certainly were present, they're getting to watch Olasabal there hit this wonderful shot, as they will do with Langer next year when it's his final Masters. Like, they're getting to see these legends of the game, albeit for only a snippet. Does it help with bringing the crowds in? Like, does it help with bringing, I don't want to say sponsors, but does it help kind of elevate the event because it's got these kind of past winners in there?
Yeah, it's a weird one because I think if you look at it in a sense like the Masters, and you look at the par 3 tournament, or you look at the guys that open up the tee, what's it called, the official teeing off thing, like Jack Nicklaus does it, is it just called, what's it actually called?
The opening ceremony?
Yeah, whatever it's called. Like, you look at that, I feel like that is such a great place to honour these past champions, these legends of the game, and it is something that golf does have. So I think there's definitely a place for that around major championships. But I suppose for us in golf, the sport of golf, the 4 majors are designed to be the pinnacle of professional golf, the absolute top level. Like, is it right that these guys who are past it are still playing in those events? Or should they have some more ambassador style role around the tournament? But I don't know. But I have mixed thoughts on it. But I suppose at the end of the day, if they make the cut, it's a great achievement. But yeah, I'm not sure.
One thing I did, just as we were talking about caddies very quickly, and obviously we're not even really spoke about the event just yet, we'll come on to that in a minute. What I thought was quite interesting, this year at the PGA Championship marked now 10 years where Rory McIlroy has not won a major tournament.
Crazy.
His last major tournament was the PGA Championship in 2014. The Open 2014. What was quite interesting, we were talking about caddies, we were talking about Harry Diamond. Can you guess what year he split up with JP Fitzgerald?
2019.
2017.
Was it?
So he's actually been with Harry Diamond 7 years now.
I've got that. I thought, you know what's throwing me off? COVID.
Yeah.
So this is what's mad now. If something happened before COVID, it was 4 years ago. Yeah. Crazy.
So 2017.
Yeah.
That's quite a long time. Like, you know, and I know people have question marks about Rory's caddy and this, that, and the other, but, you know, that's quite a long time now.
It's not his caddy. He won literally last week.
Yeah, of course he did.
Like,
he's won twice this year. Once with Shane as a partner, then at the Wells Fargo. I mean, we don't want to go into politics. There's lots obviously going on with Rory. He's filed divorce. I thought it was a very bizarre time for him to file for divorce this Monday, ahead of the PGA Championship, a day after he won tournament at Wells Fargo. I just thought it was quite an interesting time for him to file a divorce. I was actually on the golf course at Royal County Down, where he does play his golf, or when he's in Ireland, he's a member at Royal County Down as well. I was actually stood on the 7th tee when we heard the news had broke. It was like, came as a real shock. Obviously, we're not going to go into why not speculate. There's no what's the right word? Facts have come out around it, so that's their personal life, and it's a shame that it's gone like that. But yeah, I just found it was such a shock.
Yeah, I suppose I think you do more. So not that we know anything really about these guys' private lives, and nor do we need to. But I think sometimes when you see the wives at things like the Ryder Cup, or you see them at the Masters, maybe in the Par 3 tournament, and then not that long after these things happen, it does catch you by surprise. But as you said, it's who knows.
I think the other thing as well, if Rory had gone on a real slump, like he hadn't won, and then it broke, you thought, yeah, that's why he's on a real slump.
He's just won.
If anything, he's on a bit of a somewhat semi-heater.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he's in a better situation now. Who knows?
Who knows? Right, to actually get into the tournament, I thought it was a phenomenal PGA Championship, and I almost never say that. It's the major, unfortunately for me, that is the 4th ranked major in my opinion. I certainly go toss up between Masters and the Open, depends on what time of year it is. Then the US Open, then the PGA Championship. I was fascinated about the final round because there was guys up there that I really wanted to win. Guys like I would have loved to have seen Bryson DeChambeau win. He put on such an incredible display of golf on that final round. His short game, albeit his driving was sensational, his short game was unbloody believable.
I think I heard it was 6 up and downs out of 6 he got.
He was up and down from everywhere, guy. He birdied the last hole to set a marker at 20 under par. But his golf was amazing.
Does that scoring offend you or not? How under par they are?
I love it when they're under par.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either. I heard, again, on another podcast I listened to, they were talking about the score and is it too low? And for me, I know it's really cliche, but the best player will win. The score kind of doesn't matter to me.
I never mind how many under. I'd rather them make birdies than bogeys, personally. I'd rather them be fist pumping a big bogey than kind of scrambling for a par. What did I just say then?
Fist pumping a big bogey.
No, sorry, fist pumping a birdie.
You talk like Michael now.
And scrambling a par. Like, obviously times where you have to scramble pars, but it was more like they would, you knew that once they got to like 17, 18 under, that wasn't going to win. They had to keep making birdies. So yeah, Bryson's story was fascinating. I would have loved to have seen a Bryson versus Xander Schauffele playoff. I think the world wanted that. I was literally there, glued on TV, not wanting Xander's putt to miss, because I do believe he is definitely due a major.
Yeah,
obviously he's won one now, which is amazing for him. But if that would have slipped, because it was 3 holes as well. It wasn't it wasn't sudden death. It was 3-hole playoff. I was ready for that. I thought that would have been incredible.
I think for
entertainment.
Me, it's good when somebody wins a major that you feel like, and not everyone, silly to say, because anyone who wins a major deserves a major because they've played the best golf that week with the best field. But when you get a guy like a Xander, or if Victor had have won and he was a couple of shots behind, someone who doesn't yet have a major championship but is often up there, and you feel like they really kind of suit being a major champion, if you know what I mean. I think he is a guy that you could almost, if you'd asked me before this week, has Xander Schauffele got a major, I'd kind of say no, but I'd have to have a quick think about it. I was like, has he definitely not won one? It feels like he might have won a PGA before, a US Open or something, but he obviously hasn't until now, and he's a good name to add to that list.
Exactly. And honestly, his golf on the back nine, it's some of his, you know what he's really good at, and I think he'll, if he's not said this in an interview, I'm sure he's going to talk about this, is he knew when to attack and he knew when to defend. And there was many times where he had to attack and he had to go for pins, and he pulled off incredible iron shots. Honestly, sensational. He made 1 bogey on the par 5 10th, I believe it was, which was a bit of a silly bogey, nothing crazy, but his driving wasn't phenomenal. His iron play was sensational. His putting was sensational. Honestly, really good on him. And then kind of through the middle of the back nine, he knew when to play away from the flags and take par. Par was a good score on certain holes. He really did well. Bryson was just pure entertainment. I really do feel like he's gone up in a lot of people's expectations.
Did you see the clip of him throwing the ball to the kid?
Yeah.
And a fella took it.
You see the fella run off?
Yeah.
Like legged it.
And then Bryson collared him. Oh, have a come back or something. That's cool.
I really think he has matured. Obviously, I got to spend quite a bit of time with him at the end of last year.
That's why he's matured.
Exactly.
You had a word,
we had
didn't
a
you?
little chat. I think he's matured. I think he understands his role in golf a little bit more now. To go out there and shoot a 64 in the final round was pretty incredible. 7 on the par for that final round. He couldn't have done much more.
No.
He couldn't. He can't look at that round and go, I could do much more. He could only do what he could do. It was fantastic to see Victor Hovland playing so well again. He started working with his former coach, Joseph Mayo, who he kind of had a bit of a public split up with after the Ryder Cup last year. I think, you know what would be quite interesting with that storyline? Joseph Mayo's quite vocal on social media, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was a bit of a fracturing of relationship because of how vocal Joseph Mayo is on social media. Since he's got Pat back with him, I actually checked his social media last night and there's no communication of it at all. So I don't know if that might just be a little, listen, I'll work with you again, but just tone it down. Victor had a putt on the last hole to get to 20 under par. Yeah. He just missed it, which was a shame. It ran 3 or 4 foot past. He actually missed that coming back. And
he had to go for that one though.
He had to go for it. So that was incredible. Great seeing Justin Rose doing so well.
Just on that, Rick, if you look at the European performances from the top 12, we had 7 players in the top 12 from Europe. So Victor, obviously, was mentioned. Thomas Dietrich, Justin Rose, we'll come on to in a minute. Shane Lowry, obviously, was up there. Robert McIntyre, great performance from him. He was in at tied end. Tied at 8th, Alex Noren, and then Rory. So those 7 guys in the top 12 and ties was a great showing from Europe.
Really, really good. I got super excited watching Justin Rose playing that was final few hole or playing the back nine. I was like, he is really playing well. Shane did an incredible round Saturday. I watched actually quite a lot of the highlights of that. Bob McIntyre again, great to see him kind of in that contention for a major tournament. Alex Noren, a name that we've not heard from for ages, really, shoots the 65 to get to tied 8th at 12th. And then, it just shows how bloody good Rory McIlroy is. He had a very mediocre week. I'm sure he would agree with that. And he came tied 12th.
Well, I think that's what that is why you guys like Scottie and Rory, not only are they always the guys that you think of winning, they're also typically the guys, certainly now with Scottie as well, even like an average week and the kind of top 10, top 15. John Rahm missed the cut.
He did.
And I feel like, is he kind of moving out of that conversation now, the top 3?
Not at all.
Is it still just the top 2 now?
I think he's just probably a bit frustrated. I think he's coming back into these major tournaments this year with a point to prove, and he's quite emotional. I don't want to say hot-headed, that's the wrong description, but he's quite driven, and I think it'll frustrate him. And I can kind of, to some degree, I can relate to his frustration. Like, he wants to prove to everyone that he is still the man. He's still the man to beat. And I think when he starts off weak, he struggles to get that kind of drive back. He actually started off terrible the first 9 holes and actually got it back the second half of the very first round. He actually managed to almost make the cut. Just a quick one before we do move on to something else. In the next week and a half, there is it's an exclusive for everyone on the podcast, a new 10-shot challenge taking place with one of the golfers that finished in the top 12 at the PGA Championship.
Wow. Someone
who is on form. Tell you that. Someone who's on form. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming very, very soon. Our boy Tommy Fleetwood shot 6 on the final round. Yeah, just, you know what? Out of all the PGA Championships I've seen, that was genuinely one of my most enjoyable PGA Championships.
It was a good leaderboard, and I think again another kind of back to Bryson for a second, and obviously he came tied 6th at the Masters. He came 2nd this week. I think that's obviously massive for him and for his profile, but it's also a little kind of, you could argue, a nod towards Liv as well. And I think for me, you know, when live events are on and you're watching the events and you want to see obviously who does come out on top, it's a benefit for them now that they are having guys like Bryson who are still obviously performing so well. And obviously Dean Burmester, I always forget how to say his name, Burmester.
Yep.
Was up there as well. I think if they have these guys who are performing, it's almost like, I'm trying to think of like a litmus test that says, right, well, if Bryson's performing on that kind of, I call it the world stage, so to speak, the major stage, then if he is playing a live event and he's playing really well but gets pipped by somebody else, it almost is the yardstick to say, well, if that person's beating Bryson, they must be playing well. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, like, let's just say next
it's a barometer, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Next live event, Bryson plays well and he comes second, and Patrick Reed beats him, for example. It almost makes you think, right, well, it must have been a proper event. And Patrick Reed must have played so well because that's how good Bryson is right now. I don't know if I can't explain that. I want to, but it was very good to see him up there.
He certainly, in the major tournaments at the moment, is flying the flag. And
absolutely.
It was a shame he didn't win this one. For selfish reasons, because we would have easily been able to get him on the podcast today to even have a chat with him, I'm sure, or certainly in the next few days. After filming with him in America just in the back end of last year, I know how good his game is, and seeing it in front of your eyes is just different level.
Does it again show that, you know, Bryson is so kind of on it when it comes down to social media and obviously YouTube now as well. He's got over 600,000 YouTube subscribers.
He's one of us now. He's
one
a YouTuber.
And, you know, his last video, I'm looking here, got over 600,000 views. He got one a couple of weeks ago, 1.2 million views. He is getting views that are up there and really, really solid. And typically, you know, those people will be of a somewhat younger kind of nature. They are going to be turning into fans, aren't they?
He was getting a lot of love through the audience. You could see it. Like, they were really rooting for Bryson to do well. And I think he's taken it on himself to change public perception. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of the live guys could learn from. I think he's opened his arms and gone, come on, if you know, I can show you that I am a likeable person, and I can show you that you can still root for me if you want to, which I don't feel like all the live golfers have lent into just yet at all. And I think Bryson's a shining example of how you can actually turn people's perceptions around.
I agree. And just last thing on the PGA then, and someone that, again, didn't make the cut, Tiger Woods. Is it genuinely now the end?
No, it's not. Guys, shut up. Don't even say that.
I think for me, it is. And I think I'm saying that because...
Because you love him.
No.
It's time to let go.
I love Tiger Woods, and I would love nothing more of it, of course. I think anyone who loves golf truly would love to, not everybody, but a lot of people would love to see him win again. And I'd never be the person that says he never will, because how can you say that when he did what he did in 2019? But I don't think he will, hand on heart. And I think there was always that thing with Tiger where you'd have that belief that it still could happen, And now, for me, that belief is decreasing every single major. And not only am I thinking that there's less and less chance of him to win, I'm actually finding myself less and less bothered and or caring when he doesn't make the cut. So beforehand, when Tiger'd come back before, or when Tiger was playing, it'd be a bad moment for me if I missed the cut, because it made me feel like there was almost one less reason to watch the golf at a weekend, or one less reason to care. And I think when you look at the stories that you have got now, although I didn't watch much of this week for other reasons, when you look at the guys that you've got out there and the stories that you've got out there, you've got a guy like Bryson, you've got so much charisma and so much kind of fun to watch. You've got obviously Scottie Scheffler, who's dominating. You've got Rory. You've got all these other stories and subplots and narratives. I just feel like we kind of are moving on. And is it time for Tiger to just step back? Or is he going to keep playing majors and keep coming miscut or tied 60th?
I can't bring myself. I'm not at that stage yet. I'm at stage 2.
But it's a good thing.
Of grief.
It's a good thing, because I always felt like when Tiger would eventually bow out, that golf would be in such a dark place. It would be so bad, and there'd be no point in almost watching golf anymore. And if you actually look at it now, there's so many reasons to watch golf. Like if Tiger actually wasn't playing the Open, I'd be a bit gutted because I want to see him at the Open. But not going to be that much difference, really. Certainly for the event.
I just think he needs more reps. He needs more rounds of competitive golf.
Yeah.
And I'll probably sound like a broken record for the next 10 years.
No, I think you've got to give him this year, this calendar year.
No, he can have as long as he wants.
You can have the US Open and the Open.
He can have as long as he wants. He's not, US Open's not somewhere where he's going to... His real chances are the Masters and the Open. There is 2 main chances each year. And he needs lots of golf, and he's not getting lots of golf. Last time we saw him was the Masters.
Yeah, but if that's all he's ever going to do, he's going to go major, a couple of others. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to...
But if he does need a confidence booster,
yeah,
there's always a 10-shot challenge offer.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If he wants to come on the podcast and prove Guy wrong that he's still got a mate.
I bet you won't, Tiger.
If you can sit there and look at him in the face and say, Tiger, I think you're done. Can you?
I could. Watch me do it now.
Even your voice broke.
Watch me. Tiger, you're done, mate.
They're going to clip that up when he wins.
No,
you couldn't say it to his face.
I don't want it, but this is me saying I want it. I want Tiger to win every major he ever plays in. I love Tiger Woods, but I just don't. I think the moment's gone. It's like, imagine you're 15, Rick. You break up with your first love. She says, Rick, I'm dumping you for Carl Jones. Okay. Oh, Jonesy, yeah. Well, he's just turned 16. He's got a moped. What have you got, Rick? Oh, I've got Umbro football boots. Tough. I want someone with Nike football boots. She dumps you. You think, right, she'll come back. Next thing you see at the Mackey's drive-thru with Carl Jones on the back of a moped.
Where is this going?
You realise she's gone, and then the next thing, a week passes, 2 weeks passes, a month passes, a year passes. She's not coming back. You gotta let go. This is the same thing. Tiger's gone now.
He's on the back of that scooter with Jonesy.
Even Jonesy and Shanice have gone.
Yeah, that's for better things. He's not gone for better things. You're saying the other way round.
He has gone to better. He's gone to just relax. He's gone to help Charlie. Tiger Woods should have bowed out at the Open at St Andrews. Is what he should have done.
I don't totally disagree with that statement. Only because we were there and we could have had a real emotional point.
But also, what do you want to see? Last thing on this, and we'll stop talking about it. But do you want to see Tiger Woods bow out when there's still a chance? You think, oh, he still could win, or do you want to keep seeing him play events, miscut, and almost just fall over the finish line?
I just don't want ever to be a question mark of could he have.
See, I think I do want that magic rather than knowing he couldn't have done. In a Zimmer frame in 20 years' time, just still going. I want him to go out on somewhat of a high.
We'll be there. Welcome to podcast episode 6066. Tiger has missed the cut again at the Masters. Yeah. No, I don't think he will. Anyway, talking about someone who is absolutely dominating golf to a level of a Tiger, but a Tigeress. Nelly Korda. She's won 6 of her last 7 starts.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
6 of her last 7. I mean, it's outrageous. Now, granted, I was watching the PGA Championship last night. I didn't get to watch a great deal of LPGA. However, looking at it, she had a very sketchy front 9, went out in 2 over, and then shoots 3 under back 9 to win by 1. Her confidence levels at the moment just must be sky high.
You know what I was thinking on the way to work about this? She's won 6 out of 7, as you say. Like, even when you are so good at golf, which obviously she is, and so are all the women on the LPGA and all the blokes on the PGA Tour or LIV or DP World Tour, how good you actually have to be to win that often in such a time frame. And it wasn't actually, I think she had a bit of a gap, hasn't she? I think she did a couple of events, had missed a few. So it's like quite a long time frame. Like, how is it that pretty much every week when she does play, she's winning? Like, how good she has to be.
Against like 100 of the best LPGA players in the world. And she is still going out to win.
And she's only 25 years old.
I mean, it's unbelievable at the moment. I'm excited. Like, you know, again, growing up, we had kind of like Tiger era and Annika Sorenstam.
Yeah.
Like, Annika Sorenstam was the one to beat. And there was then conversations, should she play men's tournaments? That's got to be a question that's coming up soon. Like, is Nelly going to maybe transition and try and play in a few gents tournaments, male tournaments, see how she gets on? Is it needed? Is it needed for the sport? Is it needed for the promotion? Whatever it may be. Is it needed for her profile? Might not be. Like, she picked up $450,000 for this tournament that she's won. I mean, she has made some very, very, very profitable tournaments over the last few weeks, months. Granted, if she was in the gents game, she would have probably made 10 times more, but that's a subject we're probably not going to dive into right now. But yeah, for her to win 6 out of 7.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And I almost feel a bit kind of guilty that I'm not watching the events, if hand on heart. And I think, you know, it's because, like I said, I didn't even watch the PGA this week, or very, very little of it. It's the commitment to be watching. If obviously normal week, if there's PGA Tour on, there's LIV on, there might be DP World Tour on, there's obviously the LPGA. But I think it's nice to have some level of insight of what's going on and to be aware of this kind of dominance. And to your point about the women, I kind of have a mixed feeling when women play in some of the men's events, because I think it's great for their profile. And who was it most recent time? Was it who played in the men's event most recently? I can't remember who it was. Oh, I know it was Lexi Thompson.
Oh yeah, of course it was.
And I tuned in to watch that. So I think from an eyeballs perspective, having an LPGA player on a PGA Tour event or a DP World Tour event is definitely a good way of creating interest. Whether it's the right thing to do or not, I'm not fully sure on. I don't know if the women's game kind of need that comparison to the men's or not, but I think there's definitely scope, I think, for more of these kind of women and men's events, but ones that mean something.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing, like with golf in general and interest in golf, it has to be something to get my attention really that means something. And if there was, I don't know what it would need to be. Is it, like I said, a mixed Ryder Cup that's every 4 years potentially? I don't know, but it really is big, and it's a big production, and it starts to really mean something, add value. Whether it is in live, whether they incorporate a women's live, and then there's like a mixed event on that or something, I don't quite know, but that would be a great way of integrating the game.
Is there anything for the Olympics that's mixed?
Not that I know of. In golf or in other sports. Don't believe so, no.
Olympics golf, I'm sure.
The other one I can think, I know the Junior Ryder Cup, I'm sure that's a mixed team of obviously boys and girls.
I'm sure this year there is a tournament that is mixed. I'm not talking.
No, I just moved my chair. Again.
I'll have to have a look at that, but I'm pretty sure this year there is it's going to do me head in. Let me have a quick check. This is not easy to find, really, if I'm honest with you.
What are you trying to find?
Like, if there is a mixed event for the men and women.
That's what mixed golf Olympics.
I don't think there is, looking at it. Starts on the 1st of August, and you've literally got 4 rounds of men tournament, 4 rounds of women tournament.
It does say on the PGA Tour here that they're looking at maybe 2028.
Right, so it's not in just yet. Okay.
But no, it's interesting, and obviously what she is doing is incredible, and I'm sure it's inspiring other young golfers out there and young female golfers to take up the game. And she looks very cool. She's very athletic as well. I think she'll definitely inspire that younger generation of girls who maybe don't think golf is cool, or they might want to choose tennis or another sport instead. And on that as well, just a quick kind of sub. This weekend, my youngest niece, had a football tournament, and the amount of girls now in the UK playing football, it's crazy, absolutely ridiculous. She was at this massive tournament on this big field in Liverpool, and there was loads of games going on, and it's grown in the last couple of years an insane amount. When I was at school, which feels like quite a long time ago now, but not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, it was very much a boys' sport, and you might get the odd girl who might play, but very, very, very rarely.
You have to join the boys' team.
Absolutely. Now, it's not only got a little bit popular, I think it quite literally is 50-50 between the popularity of boys and girls in school.
Well, did you see the Women's FA Cup final recently at Wembley? It filled the stadium.
Crazy. And I think there's no reason again why golf can't be cool for girls and accessible. And I think the more players you have, like whether it be a Nelly Korda or a Lexi Thompson, who are doing big things in the game and making it look cool and come across as it can be cool for girls, I think it's only a good thing.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm going to make you jealous.
Come on then.
I played, and I'm not sure where it ranks yet. I need to let this settle. If not the first, the second best golf course I've ever played in my life.
Hold on a second. When you said if not the first you've always said since playing was Augusta National. So to even be in that conversation with Augusta National.
It's in that conversation.
Wow.
Royal County Down.
Come on then. Let's hear it.
It's just... So last week we went to Ireland, Northern Ireland, and filmed the trip. We also nipped over to Ireland and filmed as well. It was a hectic trip. We filmed it. So we arrived on the Sunday.
Was it well planned?
Incredibly well planned. Thank you, Guy.
And thank you to My Golf Travel.
Owen and Aaron from My Golf Travel, who looked after us incredibly well. We arrived on the Sunday. It was beautiful sunshine. And I wish I'd arrived a few hours earlier and played on that Sunday afternoon, because Monday was a total washout. And we were supposed to play in Royal County Down on that Monday. It was a total washout. So I spoke about it in last week's podcast. I managed to hit nearly 300 golf balls in practice. And it paid dividends. If I'm honest with you, I played some really, 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 really solid golf. And I think we'll wait for the clubhouse episode where we maybe give Matt a mic, and he can, obviously he was there on shoot. I'll let him explain what he thought was good and bad about my game this week in Ireland. So we moved it a day. We played at Ardglass, which is a bit like Crail in Scotland. In fact, it's very much like Crail. It's kind of quite quirky. It's got the oldest clubhouse in the world. The clubhouse dates back to 1405.
Wow.
It was an old Roman like docking station, apparently. It's amazing. So that was really cool, Ardglass. Then the Tuesday afternoon in the sunshine, as the sun was setting, 5 o'clock tee off at Royal County Down. Something very, very, a location that is honestly the most incredible location I've ever played golf in. Just Augusta's amazing, right? And it is. Everything's pristine. It's perfect. It's like, but it is so pristine and perfect because it almost doesn't look real, and it's kind of not real, is it?
No,
like Augusta is not.
It's Walt Disney World.
It's been manufactured to such a level of pure beauty and perfection. Okay, Royal County Down has been created
by God,
by whoever created us. It's unbelievable. You've got the mountains in the background. You've got the ocean. You've got just the way the land kind of falls. It's just natural beauty. Tough golf course. Every hole is different. Played really solid. Video will be coming out in a few weeks, maybe even months, but it's right up there. Like the difference why I'm saying it might be one or two is because they're so different. They're two totally different golf courses.
That's the one thing. Obviously, I would do anything to play Augusta National. I'd love to. I probably never will, and most people never will. Obviously, you have, and you've been fortunate enough, and that's something that is a very, very cool thing to say. But the only thing I think about that, and you kind of hit the nail on the head then, is it does feel a bit fake. I've never been on the estate of Augusta National, so I can't really comment too much. But you know, I've heard these things about they've dyed the water and stuff. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. And like how there's like almost sometimes I've heard about like there's cables up the back of a tree or something, and it does have that little bit of a fake. It's almost too good to be true, which I know it probably isn't the case, but that's the only thing I think. Whereas you said that something like here, Royal County Down, where it's on the coast and it's just there, it feels a bit more like authentic almost.
It is. It's golf in its purest form. What's crazy about it as well, genuinely, if we got a helicopter or a private jet or a speedboat, we could honestly be from where we are to Royal County Down in an hour. So we are now Royal County Down don't know this, but it's now officially new home of the Rick Shiels golf show.
Great.
So
was it the best course of the trip?
Yeah, by a mile.
It was the one that obviously I helped to put this trip together for you, and I was going to come, but obviously it ended up falling when I was on holiday myself, so it was the one I was gutted not to go to. We
also played some incredible golf courses. Like Ardglass was really, really good, really quirky, really good fun. Royal County Down was just special, somewhere I was really looking forward to. We then drove up 3 hours up to a place called Rossapenna, and Rossapenna have created a new golf course called St Patrick's. I'm actually wearing the hat right now, Rossapenna hat. And Rossapenna itself has got 2 golf courses, Sandy Hills and Old Tom.
Well, what's St Patrick's then?
So what happened was they had these 2 golf courses, and there was a golf course next door. They had 2 golf courses on, and that golf course went into administration. Okay, so the 2 brothers that effectively run Rossapenna, so it's the dad who owns it, and then 2 brothers that run it, Frank and John Casey, they were like, can we not buy this land because it's unbelievable and make like this incredible golf course? And you know what? I've met, not many, but I've met a few real golf course connoisseurs. Like who really know about course design and architecture and just, just love anything like that, right? And in their pro shop that they had there at Rossapenna, they had all of these bag tags of the courses that they've played at. And Guy, they've played everywhere.
Really?
Like Pine Valley and Cape Kidnappers.
Wow.
And And in the pro shop they had this board. I have to get one for the office actually. It's a Golf Digest board or a golf.com or something board of the top 100 courses in the world. And you get these little gold pins, and if you've played it, you put it in next to the golf course, right?
That's cool.
And at the top 100, Frank, who had travelled a little bit more, he'd played something like 96 of these top golf courses in the entire world, right? And one of them he hadn't played was Augusta National, so I managed to have that little flex on him. But the amount of courses he's played is astronomical.
There's
right?
three. There's the Old Tom Morris, Sandy Hills, and then St Patrick's.
Yeah, they built this new St Patrick's. Now it's only 3 years old, and they enlisted the services of Tom Doak, who's a famous course designer, and the setting is just out of this world. And their real objective was to create a world-class golf course. Like, they wanted to be recognised as a world-class golf course. In 3 years, it's now been voted the 49th best golf course in the world.
Crazy.
So on that lovely board, St Patrick's is now on there, and they have that same wooden board in the St Patrick's. It's kind of a temporary pro shop at St Patrick's. They're building one soon, and they have this board, and there's only one pin in it, and that's at St Patrick's.
That's cool.
And it was honestly really, really, really special golf course. Really gorgeous views. I played really well, but not super challenging, very fair, but looked intimidating, but wasn't intimidating. It was fantastic. So that was really good. Then went over to Portrush, played Portrush, which I played before in 2019 ahead of the Open. They've got the Open there next year. Really good. Got to play with Gary, the head pro. Looked so different without grandstands up. So that was really cool. And then the final day, unfortunately, I fell a bit ill. I had a bit of an upset stomach. I won't go into it. And then also it was quite misty, and we were supposed to play Portstewart, but I teed off at 12 o'clock, okay? Mm-hmm. Really not feeling well. Played 2 holes and walked in. Oh. I felt the same as I walked in when I played with Bob the Sports at St Andrews, annoyingly. Like, just had no energy. I just really, really couldn't hit the golf ball or anything. Just felt weak. Went back to bed. 5 hours later, teed off, and I played 9 holes, but just literally I could hardly move. So we had to call it a day. So I'm going to go back to Portstewart, because that was an amazing, amazing, amazing place, just up the road from Portrush. So yeah, it was pretty epic. It was really, really epic. And just to think that from us, it's an hour flight.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And you know who the most people were there?
Americans.
Full of Americans. Like, they take that trip. Yeah. Why do we not take it more often?
Do you think sometimes when things are so close like that, you just don't think to, do you?
Have you ever been to Stonehenge?
No.
I've not.
No.
Matt, have you?
Matt will have. Have you not?
But like, what I mean about that, like, I reckon if you asked Americans who have come to England, have you seen Stonehenge? I reckon 90% of them have.
Yeah.
What is it when you live somewhere? It's like you don't explore your own land enough.
It's true.
Well, I've been to America a few times. Me and my wife did like a tour for our honeymoon where we went to like New York, San Francisco, and we drove down the coast and we stopped at like Yosemite Park. And when I tell Americans I've been to Yosemite Park, like, no way, I'd love to go there. And you think, I've been there and you've not. But they say the same about us. Yeah. Like, it's crazy, isn't it?
I think it's like a lot, like, we only live like 2 hours on a train from London, but yeah, very rarely go to London.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people live around here, probably never been, or maybe once years ago.
Like, have you done Loch Lomond?
No. Yes, I have actually.
So I've done Loch Lomond once as a golf kid. Course. Yeah, I've done the golf course, but as in like proper Loch Lomond.
A little bit of it, yeah.
Like, yeah, Americans seem to go to Scotland straight to Loch Lomond, don't they?
Or Loch Ness. I've never been to Loch Ness.
Sorry.
That's the one I meant. I've never been to Loch Ness.
That's the one I meant. Sorry, Loch Ness, not Loch Lomond. Yeah, like Americans that come over. Yeah.
You go into Loch Ness, see the monster.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is.
Anyway, my game was trending nicely.
Good. Tell us in the clubhouse episode.
Yes, and it'll be ready, geared up for Open qualifying when I shoot 6 under and qualify for the Open.
Is it? How's that going? This thing.
I'm desperate for a new driver.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that.
Okay, let's do that in the clubhouse.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode, and we shall see you in the clubhouse coming out Friday. Podcast next week may be delayed. It might not be out on Tuesday because we've got a bank holiday here in the UK.
I'm off on Tuesday.
And then you're off on Tuesday. I'm playing golf and filming, so it might be a delayed episode. But next week, new 10-shot challenge.
Boom.
With someone who came top 12 in the PGA Championship, and we will get them on the podcast also. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the podcast episode Audio only on Friday.